White mom biracials. Let's talk about it. If you're ethnically biracial Black, that means that you either have a white mom and a Black dad, or you have a Black mom and a white dad. And those combinations mean totally different things, right? Societally, culturally, among the Black community. One is perceived as very positive, and the other can be perceived as negative. If you're a Black mom biracial, that typically means you were raised in the culture, you were raised to be respectful, you were raised to not center yourself among Black people. The opposite is true. If you're called a white mom biracial, that oftentimes means that you do center yourself, that you're not accustomed to your culture, that you don't perceive yourself as Black. Before we go further, I think it is important to note that this conversation of white mom versus Black mom biracial is framed through motherhood, which is an inherently kind of misogynistic idea. It's this idea that mothers are the only one that sustain tradition and that the fathers are kind of just left out of this conversation. I think it's just important to keep in mind. Let's start with Black mom biracials, right? Zooming out from the children, I think we as a Black community oftentimes prefer or preference this idea of a Black woman being with a white man. It suggests that this person, this white person, is flouting kind of typical societal ideals and is respecting and relishing the idea of being with a powerful Black woman. And I think part of the excitement there too is the idea or understanding that the children of that union will be raised by a Black woman. So these mixed Black biracial children will be raised by a woman who prioritizes their Blackness and gets them comfortable with the idea of being Black and involves them with the community and the history and the tradition and the ideals. And so that person isn't kind of tragic or stuck between worlds or kind of profiting from this biracial identity in a harmful way to the Black community. And I think anecdotally, when we see these biracial Black children with Black mothers, they're typically raised very well. The moms themselves don't really mess up in these seismic ways. The kids know how to do their hair. They are raised in the Black community. They understand about their history and their traditions, and they identify themselves as Black. I just think also the kids know who they are. There's less of this oh, I don't know where I fit in. I don't know what my racial identity is. There's less of that. There's more confidence in the idea of I'm Black and I have a white parent. What also can't be forgotten is that when Black women enter into interracial relationships and they know that they'll be having children, they typically choose partners who will be responsible interracial partners, right? A Black woman, anecdotally, of course, will pick a white partner who is going to help positively raise this Black child, who will not contribute to anti-racist ideals or make that child feel weird or upset or sad about their Blackness. Next, the white mom biracials, of which I am a member. Anecdotally and across this app and social media, we're very familiar with the idea of white women fetishizing Black men and fetishizing this idea of having mixed babies. In these situations, these white mothers raise their biracial Black children around white people, and they typically don't really kind of introduce them to the Black community or Black culture or Black history or Black ideals. And so these kids are fundamentally confused, right? They're ethnically, aesthetically, physically different than their mothers and the communities they're raised around, and then they slowly kind of absorb this anti-Blackness rhetoric. In these situations where the white mom isn't steadfast and super responsible about raising her children, these kids are raised and internalize a lot of anti-Blackness. They don't know how to do their hair. They don't know how to decenter themselves in situations around other Black people. And it is ultimately harmful to the child because they do lack this confidence in who they are. And they also have those proverbial feelings of, oh, I'm so tragic. I don't know where I fit in. Factually, I am a white mom biracial. I was raised in a predominantly white situation with a white mother. And my parents were very into colorblindness, which is a story for another time, which was ultimately harmful to me. I didn't know how to do my hair. I didn't understand my identity. I was very confused. I totally felt tragic about it. And it wasn't until college where I learned about being Black and history and culture and literature and was around other Black people where I was able to unpack and do all of this unlearning.